Welcome to this evening's episode of Creative Cabin Fever. On this episode, we have Aaron O'Sullivan, also known as Jordan Run. Aaron, introduce yourself, please.
Well, hello. How are you getting on? Thanks for having me. My name is Aaron O'Sullivan. I'm from Cork. Um, I have a project called Jordan Run where I write and perform my own original music, sometimes alone, sometimes with an amazing band. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's nice to be chatting on the old interwebs.
It is. It's really nice to be able to connect with people like this because it's such a strange time for all of us. And I'm really excited to hear your input on it because that's what's been happening. All the
Mhm.
interviews are very catered and tailored to each person I'm talking to. And I'm getting so many wonderful insights into individuals and how they're coping with everything that's going
Mhm.
on. So, obviously, I've heard you're a terrific guitar player. I've heard that your solo career is just about to take off. You obviously released a brand new single yesterday. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so I released Outcast yesterday on like Spotify and the usual stuff. It's the fifth song that I've released. The first song this year. Um, I wrote it. I wrote the lyrics first. Usually with me, I'll come up with a hook on the guitar or like I'll have an idea for a song. But this was the kind of one of the first songs where it was just the words that came to mind. I was on the way up to Dublin to an open day to a college, and yeah, I was just thinking about mates of mine that I haven't seen in a while, or maybe people that haven't seen me in a while. And I was thinking about just this whole kind of thing, which is kind of relevant to what we're at today, where we're completely isolated from society almost, and groups of friends, family, which is unfortunate, obviously. But this was just a different time where I felt it was a similar, I guess, situation. And yeah, I just had the idea of an outcast, that it's kind of a person who's isolated from a group, whether that's by choice or not. um, so yeah, I just kind of had this idea where I was in the person that was shut away from society, or else I was the person that wanted to be shut away from society because maybe I didn't want to be in a group, or. But all that kind of just came together, and then I ended up coming home that night and just put a guitar riff under it, and yeah, it came together pretty quick. I did some edits, and I have a little controller here where I do a lot of MIDI production, and I have a little studio set up where I am at the moment. So I'm very lucky to have the space here. Like, yeah, that's pretty much the story of it. It's online. It's got a bit of airplay yesterday. People are still sharing it and messaging me lovely, kind messages about the song, which is lovely. It's lovely to have that. Like, so yeah, pretty happy with it overall. To be fair.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful to get feedback from people that are actually listening. I listen to it myself and I think it's beautiful. And it's not normally the
Thank
type
you.
of song I'd be listening to, but obviously
Yeah, it's a
because
bit. Yeah.
I really, really found it very melodic and beautiful, and your voice is incredible. And you can
Thank you
tell you're
very
an
much.
accomplished guitar player, you know. So that's
Thank you. Yeah. No, it's nice. I'm happy that it's people are enjoying it, and it's something very different to what I'd usually play. Like, I'm usually more of a rock or an indie. I'd write in that style. It's got to have like a lot of guitar and a lot of high energy and stuff. But yeah, I've been getting my thoughts around maybe just more pop production recently, like mixing rock with like trap and hip hop, and sort of these new timbres of instruments that are kind of there's kind of like a divide really between like the hard rock stuff, which is amazing, which I love, I grew up on, and then there's this kind of other world of just synthesized electronic soundscapey, this sort of stuff. But I want to try and fuse those things together, so hear some that people would never kind of listen to before. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool that those ideas work. So
Yeah, I really enjoy
yeah.
fusion music and people who try
Hmm.
different things. I think one of the most beautiful things about being an artist, which I'm not, but one of the things I admire most in your kind, um, is your ability to reinvent yourself. And we're kind of finding ourselves in a period of time where that's what everyone seems to be doing. I've
For
been really
sure.
enjoying your live streams, for instance.
Nice one. Yeah. We did one for a really cool gig about 2 or 3 weeks ago at the Live at Home, which was done by Unemployable Promotions. Mick and Paul would be good friends of mine, and they're always supporting artists, and and working with talent. Like, so they put the gig together, and we raised something like, I don't know, it was like €1,600 for like, 8 or 9 artists, and like everyone, like, like we're doing a 30-minute gig at home, and you have like, like you do a gig locally, you might have 100 people turn up, which is amazing, but online you could have like, 200 or 300 people watching, and the engagement is really like you actually can physically see or visually get the feedback. It's really cool. It was a great feeling, and it was nice to know that people support artists, and people are really good to do that, especially in these times, because we're all just on our screens, just cracking up in the gaffs.
Yeah, I guess the thing I find funniest about this is we've spent the last few years completely on our phone screens filming live gigs, and now all of a sudden it's the only way we can watch live gigs. So I feel like a dope for telling everyone to put their phone away.
For sure, yeah, yeah. It's certainly it's different, like, but we're hoping to put one together now in like a month or a month and a half, just after the EP comes out. So I'm hoping to do the gig in aid of Pieta House. So like I've just been looking into like charities, and because of like the loss of like Darkness into Light, and like Daffodil Day for the Cancer Society, that like these charities, like Pieta House is down €6 million, and like at a time like this where like people are more alone than ever, and the money is even lower that they can't go out and help, we feel that it'd be cool to promote the gig as something that's it's going to raise money for a good cause, and hopefully people will engage with that.
That's a beautiful
So
idea. I think that's definitely very engaging. I, as a punter, would definitely support something like that. And a lot of people, especially in times like this, get a
hmm
real benefit from being able to donate to a worthy cause. Like, obviously, you're getting huge support when you're doing those gigs for the artists themselves, and that in itself is beautiful. But actually giving it a different dimension again and making it a more charitable cause, that's pretty, you know, incredible.
yeah, it's nice. Yeah, like I just saw how much money that event was, really well organized, really well advertised, and the whole lot. And just to see that the income that it brought for us, and just to be able to give that something that, if a couple of artists did something like that once a week, like good causes could benefit from that. So just currently kind of putting the pieces together with that now, and yeah, it should be fun. Um,
Well, let me know whenever
Hopefully
that's on, and I'll give it a push on Viking Promotions as well. It'd be my pleasure. And of course, I'd
that'd be
love to.
great. Like, thanks so much.
You're welcome. I'd love to
Yeah,
attend as well. So don't ever be scared to reach out. If I don't see something you're doing online, always feel that you can approach me, and I'll do whatever I can in whatever time I can.
legend. Thanks a million. Yeah, yeah. No, it's cool. That's really cool. Um, it's mad actually seeing also like things have cropped up. Like people are doing far more stuff online now than ever, because that's all we have essentially. Like it's our form of contact with everyone. Like just seeing like the cobwebs being dusted off people's cameras, and it's cool. It's good crack.
Yeah,
Good
it's
crack.
great. I'm loving watching the reinvention of the scene. Like there seems to be kind of almost a faction kind of formed where people believe either the scene is dead or the scene is just reinventing. And I definitely fall under, and you definitely fall under the reinventor of believers. There's so much creativity that's finally possible. There's so many people doing things that are just utterly beautiful and that they would not have had a chance to do if it wasn't for this.
Oh, it's amazing. Like I just like I'd look online, and it's like people are putting up drawings and art of like, the first time they've ever like drawn something in like 10 years, and the place covered in art. People are messaging me that like I've never actually known have written music, but they come to me like, I've written something. Will you help me with this? And it's like this kind of like all this. I'm messaging everyone like, what are you up to? It's like I'm actually getting time to do this, and it's really cool. And there's more music everywhere, and there's art everywhere. It's kind of cool in a way. Like obviously it sucks that we can't go to the pub, but it's, it's nice in ways. There's definitely a lot of benefits to it, for sure.
Yeah, I think it's making us value things more. I think it's making us realize how beautiful life was before. So I think if anything, it's joining us together more, and that's a very beautiful journey to be part of. unfortunately the
For sure.
circumstances surrounding it make it very difficult. But
Yeah. Like, I think like there can be a lot of things done online to promote self promotion and all that stuff, you know. And um like just the ideas that would pop into my head. Like I had this idea the other day. I was like, I'm gonna contact a couple of musicians to like put a 60-second audio recording of something together and like send it along, and someone's going to dub over another part. So I'm actually organizing this kind of like Insta Jam thing now, where like I have something like 40 or 50 musicians, and they're all going to do like drum part to a bass part to someone's going to do a vocal thing. It's going to be like this kind of series of just little short splurges of clips of audio, like with video. So it's quite fun. That's going to keep me entertained for like a week or two, just putting all these little videos together. So it should be quite fun. I've got some really cool musicians in it. Like, should be cool.
that's an insanely creative idea. I'm so happy I'm only finding out about this, so my face can be like, that's insane.
Yeah, yeah. We haven't announced it yet or anything. Like, but I just I'm contacting. Like, I went to School of Music in Cork, which is amazing. And I met a lot of drummers in there, obviously through each year. So I just contacted a lot of them, a lot of my peers from who wouldn't have been to college we met on the scene in Cork, and yeah, they're all like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." And they're just like, "Yep, when do you want the audio?" Get onto a few bass players, send it on to them. They send it back to me, and then we just put like a four-way split screen thing of us, completely new music thing. But like, if I was out and about gigging 4 or 5 nights a week, I wouldn't have this idea wouldn't have popped into my head, I suppose. So it's cool. Should be fun.
That is a lot of fun. Is there any way people can get in touch with you about that project if anyone's listening?
For sure. Like if you want to drop me an email, or just even follow me on Instagram at Aaron O'Sullivan Music or Jordan Run Official. Um, like at the moment, like I think I have something like 12 groups. So like that's, a team of 3 or 4 people per group. So like absolutely would love to. And there's a really simple method to doing it. It's just ABC, do this, send here, simple steps, and then should have a good bit of content. And like even I'm reaching out to people that I haven't. I lived over in Florida for a while, and like I just got onto my few of my buddies from I live with over there, and they're sending stuff over now. So it's like it's not just like Cork; it's like Ireland and the world as well. So it's cool. It should be fun.
That
Should
is
be fun.
insanely cool. And it brings me into
Yeah.
our next question quite well. So, obviously, as part of what you do and how you're reinventing yourself or staying creative, you obviously give music classes online. And how you do
Mm,
that, and one of the parts that you do
mm,
that makes you a little bit different, is you kind of teach groups and bands how to collaborate together without overstepping boundaries, and how you kind of corral them the same way,
mhm,
let's say, a music instructor would in an orchestra for all the world.
mhm. Yeah. So like I was lucky enough that well I when I was younger I got there was a great scene down in West Cork where I was playing with unbelievable musicians that I wasn't even aware of their caliber of their like career. Like I got lessons off Stephen Housden, who was the guitarist of the Little River Band, who were like a #1 artist in Australia years ago, and he was teaching me. And I was playing with. I ended up getting up playing with Eric Bell from Thin Lizzy one night when I was like pretty much a kid. So from a young age, fortunately, my parents pushed me in a direction, and they were extremely supportive to what they knew I loved music since I was a baby. Like, and they always were like, "We'll bring him to the gig." They sat in the car while I was in the rehearsal in the cold. They drove me to all my lessons. They paid, all the way along. And then I got to this music college where I was lucky enough to be taught effective practice and to respect music and how to approach music of different genres. So I went through like 4 years of kind of similar, I suppose, to kind of Berkeley kind of style, a lot of jazz, pop, theory and stuff. So that was really, really beneficial. And that definitely kind of the last 10 years has kind of been now come to a climax. Okay, now I got to put this energy into my own work, into my own music and projects, whatever, as any artist would do after years. But now it's like, so I've been teaching in that institute now as I suppose a tutor for like teenagers from like, well, I suppose there's kids there too. I teach them guitar, but then I particularly teach like a band class, which is an intermediate skilled. They're about, I think they're averaging from like 14 to 16, but these kids are like incredible musicians. They've had years of tuition from, maybe 2 or 3 years prior. So yeah, just like I'm in there and they want to learn a song. And it might, like, for instance, today we were doing, I had a lesson this morning or this afternoon, and we're doing Billie Eilish Bad Guy, which is like quite a synth heavy song. The whole tune is created on MIDI on a computer. Like, it's unbelievably produced. Like, it's amazing. Like, the production is outstanding on it. But like, we have to mimic that tune as an ensemble, as a band, as real humans. So it's like you could just press a button on a pad and it'll just put everything in place, 1, 2, 3, 4. But you've got to be on the ball with your timing, and you've got to really practice it. So they're in there. Usually we're in a room together in the building, and we've got, like, I'm able to say to them, or they're able to react. We have feedback with each other. We're like, okay, that little part there could be a little louder, and then this part needs to not, we need to fix the vocals here. And so now what we've set up, which is really cool, and the head of the academy, Carl Rooney, set it up where we collaborate online via Zoom, and like, I've got the seven of us here, and we're talking, okay, look, you got to send me this bass part. I've got to be able to download it, and we're talking about converting the file types, and then they're fixing drum parts. So now it's like we've got like 7 live musicians recorded, and now I'm putting all that together here, and then I get to send that back to them. It's like, this is what you guys have created from your rooms, and like, you're going to be at home tonight and you're going to listen. Like, we were a part of that, which is being part of a piece of music is a very, very rewarding thing as well, So it was cool. They handled it really well. They sent me their parts. It was cool. It's very fun, and I always look forward to working with them. They're a great bunch of kids. They're not even kids. They're teenagers, I suppose. Yeah. Young adults.
Yeah, well, look, that sounds really fascinating and like a really beautiful thing to be able to do and help other people do. One of the criticisms that was happening the last few days over my interviews was the lighting, and unfortunately my house is the darkest house in Ireland, and the sun has come down, so I'm relying on this light beside me.
Yeah.
But the
lighting's quite good.
It'll have
it's
to
ambient.
do. Yeah.
All right, let's see if I can get more of an ambience in here. I could just have
it's okay. So you talked about West Cork, and obviously I shared with you that I went to boarding school in Clonakilty, and you obviously grew up quite close by. But you also share another interest of mine, which you actually saw perform in Clonakilty recently enough.
Thumper, yeah. I'm wearing the t-shirt, lads.
I'm wearing the same t-shirt, lads.
Yours is a lot cooler. I like the colored one. Very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
But they were amazing. I saw them at the Clonakilty Guitar Festival back in September. Holy shit. Like, I've heard their stuff online and on from like a couple of blogs as well. But fuck me, their live performance was insane. Insane.
Yeah, they have so much energy and they really work very well together, and you can tell that they really practice to get where they are,
Oh, absolutely. Like, yeah, the musicianship and the whole brand and everything, and just the live shows. Shit hot. No, I loved it. I remember that night, actually, I was chatting to them, and they were heading off to the UK at like 3 a.m. for a tour or something. Like, they were out the gap straight after that. And I was like, geez, would you not be bad after? I was like, nah, we're going straight to the airport now. Like, so they're flying it. I'm delighted for them. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really nice to see a band that you genuinely love do so well.
Yeah, and just like great attitudes, and like, they're like, very rare have I come across any band or artist that wouldn't stop and chat to you after a gig. I think that day is kind of gone now. Like, it's good. It's cool. People have a lot of respect for each other in the scene in Ireland in particular.
Well, we're all in this together, so we should definitely try and be humble and respectful of anyone who's good enough to come and see our gigs, because without them, we don't have a scene,
Absolutely, like, absolutely, yeah, yeah.
So there
So
we're getting on.
you're
Sorry.
no, go on. I was saying, as your lighting is immaculate. I was gonna say.
Yay.
Yeah, you got. Is it a salt lamp or something? You're. Ah, yeah. Is it actually? Oh, that's
No,
cool.
it's like a rock and skull. I don't know if you can see it.
Sick, sick. He's got a flying V and everything.
It's
Savage.
it's like something out of my teenage bedroom years, but it's all I have in the house. So
It's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I'm obsessed with like orange lights. Like I bought all of these. I have one in like each room in the gaff. Just like I fucking love salt lamps. They're just the best.
yeah, I have one in the house. Only one though. I don't have a rake of them. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
like
in my
they
music
were on
room.
sale one day. They're like there's like little shop down the street in Cork, and they were down to like a tenner. I think they were like closing down. So I ended up getting like 4 or 5 of them. It was just, but I keep blowing the bulbs because I have like loads of extension cables in the rooms, and every time I like sometimes when I switch it on the anyway, besides nothing to do with music whatsoever.
Nothing, but it doesn't matter. It's a conversation. I bought a rake of light bulbs on Amazon for quite cheap, and now I just have them in storage in the house so I don't have to worry whenever it blows.
Good call.
There we
Good
are.
call.
That's all I have.
You're yeah.
So yeah, the music questions, Aaron. I was really interested. The same question I ask everyone, and anyone who's watched the interviews before knows what's coming next. But what was the first song you fell in love with?
um, like ever.
Yes.
Oh wow. Um, whoa. Jesus. I think I remember. I don't remember, but I have a video. I've seen a video of myself when I was like 3, and I think I was at a wedding. It was someone in my family's wedding, and they were playing like I think it was Black or White or some Michael Jackson hit at the time, and like it was like full on dance floor. Like everyone should have been out on the floor, and I was like the only one in the middle of the floor, just like busting out the moves. Um, but that was like I didn't even have a conscience back then, so I probably didn't even realize I loved it. But I remember, I suppose what kind of brought me to guitar was I was playing a lot of kind of old um, classical music and jazz music on clarinet for a while. So I was kind of appreciating like the really old stuff. But the first time I was like, nah, this is what I want to do. I was on the way to school. Uh, we had this legend of a bus driver. Um, and I remember being like, I think it was like 10 or 11. And he had like a rake of like classic rock albums on the bus on CD. He had like a Led Zeppelin album. He had like, I think he had Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy, and he had one of the early AC/DC albums. And I remember hearing like Highway to Hell and like Back in Black and all these old tunes. And I was like, at that point, I was like, why am I playing trad? Why am I playing clarinet? This is the shit that I want to do. And I remember like loving that genre of music so much that I ended up like, that was close to when I bought my first electric guitar. Then I started getting into that kind of stuff. So I guess that was kind of that sort of Led Zeppelin, Heartbreaker, um, AC/DC, all that kind of stuff was the first kind of moment where I felt kind of like, fuck yeah, this excites me. Like, I think so. Yeah.
No, that's a great answer. And the thing about the question is, it's not the question that matters, is what you perceive. It's about the question and how you feel you want to answer it. And that's how these interviews are kind of going. I have a funny
Yeah.
story about being 3 years old. I used to live in Switzerland, and my neighbors were about 16 years old, and they used to love playing with a little 3-year-old girl in the fields, you know? But they had just
Yeah.
gotten Michael Jackson, I'm Bad on cassette tape.
Oh, yeah. Class.
And they put me in this leather jacket, and I started performing I'm Bad in the middle of our housing estate for all the world. And that's filmed somewhere, but I don't know who has it. So that's a
No,
similar story to you, really.
Yeah, class. Yeah, Jackson had a way of he was amazing. Um, really, really, yeah. It's mental though, isn't it? I think just the groove in his music, like the just Quincy Jones, that whole like rock with you, they're just banging. Like they're just so good to groove to like. And I really like how like 80s music and like 70s disco and like 80s kind of classic 80s is just coming back around, like all those 80s style drums and like synthesizers are just like back in full force. Everyone wants their track to sound like, Prince, or everyone's doing it. Like it's so cool to just see it come around again.
Yeah, it's
Back in
that
my
or the
day, buddy,
John
back in the
Carpenter.
80s.
Sorry, it's that or like the John Carpenter type vibe, you know? A lot of
Yeah,
people are going for that dark synth awesomeness, and I love that too.
so fun, so fun. Yeah, it's gas. I think there's definitely a big change coming to like the style of music again. Like we're kind of at this class, um, drug and fueled hip hop. This kind of whole genre and culture is huge now, especially in America. Like, but that's what I'm trying to go for, is like combining the old school rock with some sort of modern trap element or something like that. I'm still like coming with up with plans and ideas all the time, but it's just a thought that's in my head. It's like I don't really know anyone that's kind of do. I know the likes of Rap Boy is kind of doing it. Nothing But Thieves have a lot of like electronic pieces to their music. Um, James Blake is unreal as well. And so many good artists. And like I actually just discovered one of my favorite artists at the moment, Somebody's Child. That I think is he from Dublin? Um, Amazing. Just like this kind of like punk slash police sounding stuff. It's like new wave, but it's kind of Catfish and the Bottlemen fueled indie as well. He's great. Great stuff. Great stuff.
Wow, you'll have to send me on that, whatever your favorite track is by that later, so I can share it on the Viking page for anyone who's interested, but mostly because I want to lose myself in that for a little bit. So the next,
Yeah, Jungle. I think one of the tunes is Jungle. It's really good. It's a really good song. Yeah, by Somebody's Child. Great track.
and then I was going to ask you what your top picks for Irish music at the moment were. So we've already got one, Somebody's Child, Jungle. What else are you really into
Hmm.
in the industry at the moment?
I just in depth, like whenever I listen to an album, I'll have to listen to it for like a week straight, and I'll have to just engross myself in that artist and like what the whole thing is about. Um, and it wouldn't usually be my cup of tea or my style, but I was just listening to Niall Horan, like his new album, Heartbreak, Weather or Heartbreak, yeah. Um, it's amazing, absolutely class. Like the writing in it, the production, everything. Like there's some amazing tracks in it. No Judgment is like kind of his mainstream one that's picking up a lot of airplay at the moment. No Judgment, but there's one, Small Talk and Bend the Rules. There's three tracks, and there's another one, Something My Lover or something, but it's like a really slow ballady one. But the lyrics are just genius. Like you just can't help but be like, oh yeah, that's the melody there. I got that. Like it's um it's just toxic pop.
those brainworms that get in your head and stay there for days.
It's there, and like I put it on my playlist, and I'm like, yeah, this tune's a banger. Yeah, I like that album a lot. One of my friends' bands, from Cork, Rowan, they've released Big Wave. I think about a week or 2 weeks ago. I think it was a week ago. Absolute banger as well. They've just got this like Bombay Bicycle Club slash just it's just their own sound. They've really got like this really cool genre going on. That's just their own type of indie. And they're mainly Cork lads, but Rowan, yeah, they're really killing it as well. It's fair play to the lads.
You're the second person to recommend them in the last 2 days, and I
Oh
started
man,
listening
like
to them as well. They're brilliant. So, that's
so good, like so good. Yeah. Yeah, they're class. Really good. Yeah, like obviously I love Toucan as well, like Connor Clancy and the gang. Um, Absolutely unreal. Kojak, all these artists are just there's just so much good stuff. Thousand Beasts as well, Kean Sweeney, and of course Luna. Um, there's just like the list. I could honestly just sit here calling out all my favorite names for like an hour, but I won't.
Maybe we can do that after the interview, but yeah, we're probably
Yeah,
right to move on. I
toxic pop.
I actually, one of the best gigs I went to last year, one of the many, and that's going to bring me on to the next question I have for you. But my answer right now, I went to All Together Now, and the
Oh, sweet.
standout performance at All Together Now was actually Kojak and the full band.
Yeah, I haven't seen him live now. I haven't seen him yet, but I love his. I saw him in Other Voices. So good, so good.
I couldn't get over it. I kind of ended up in the tent by accident. I was there with a few of the Waterford scene, and we ended up like it's insane. We all ended up in the Kojak tent because one of the lads, I don't know if you know him, like oh, he's a hip hop. Oh my goodness, I can't think of his name right now. It's Alex, but I can't think of his second name, and that's no good to
Alex
me.
Goff, isn't it? Yeah,
Alex Goff, thank
Alex.
you.
Yeah,
Alex Goff was
great man.
with me and another friend, and we were kind of hanging out after getting food, and he was like, come to the tent. And me and my friend at the time were like, oh, I don't know what we're going to do next, so we all went to see Kojak, and it was just a
So
standout
good.
gig. Like,
Yeah, yeah. No, his album is class. Like, his stuff with yeah, just unreal, unreal. Yeah. I haven't seen him live now. They were in the Roundy recently, and I literally only found out the other day. Which is a shame, but yeah, that gig was insane. The hype at that gig, like,
yeah, all of it was just so different because they were with a full band as well, which isn't the usual get up, and it was just,
mm.
yeah, all together now as a whole was a fantastic experience. The first day
I
I
was
was
just
there,
about to ask. Yeah,
the first day I was there with my son. So I brought him to his first music festival, and he got to see Bitch Falcon and a few other bands,
class,
and he loved it. And
class,
then I brought him back to his dad's, and I went on with my weekend. So it was kind of nice balance.
savage, unreal. Yeah, it's great to have festivals that are child friendly as well. It's cool. I've never been. I've only heard great things about it. Great things. It's meant to be like the new EP of. That's a bit of a bold statement. But
No, it's very boutique and it's very special. And for now, it's in the early days, so it hasn't been spoiled the way all festivals get spoiled and have to reinvent themselves, unfortunately.
yeah, I know. I was at a good few festivals last year now. I was I was playing with Luna up at Electric Picnic last year. Um, but I kind of I resigned from Luna just so I could focus more on my own stuff. Um, which was cool. But it was a great experience. Like just the caliber of artists that were at that festival was absolutely insane. I remember I was there the year before and I saw Tom Misch, um, unreal. Like the 1975 were there this year. Dermot Kennedy, Billie Eilish. Just like it was great to go to a festival where all the headline acts were just like there was no one there I didn't want to see. Even in like just the whole thing, you could go anywhere and there was just like, the Riptide movement were down one end and you just had like, um who else was there? I was just the whole thing. You weren't short of good music anyway. It was class. But I remember very little of that whole festival, but
And that's okay too. That's kind of the beauty of a music festival. So, was there any other standout gigs last year? Because that brings us on to kind of one of my final questions for you this evening.
Jesus, that's like opening a can of worms now. Fuck. Yeah, there was a few. I was lucky enough. I got up to John Mayer, all right, in the Three Arena, um, which was a really cool gig because like he put on a great show, but it was just a laid back. It was like being at a living room in the Three Arena. It was just like, yeah, it's just the band. They're playing like chill tunes. Everyone's taking a solo, and just the whole atmosphere. Like he plays certain tunes, and like the whole atmosphere in the room. The way that guy can like progress a guitar solo and his control, and he's just amazing as a musician, and especially I really admire his lead playing. I think he's fucking phenomenal. But yeah, that was a really, really jaw-dropping gig. Like, holy shit. Really, really cool. Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
Yeah, that sounds magical. It's brilliant when you can have a place that big feel like it's your sitting room. There's something very,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, it was absolutely, absolutely unreal. I'm just trying to think. Well, I saw, what did I see last year? Um, my head is just fried right now because I'm just like
Hey,
trying to
look, I
piece
forgot
it all
Alex
together.
Goff's name, right, in the middle of that interview. That has never happened to me before, to forget someone I know quite well's name. Like,
uh, so I'm terrible at names. Then, like, I literally don't know half the names of my family. Like, I'm just like, "Are you Kean? No, you're John. Sorry, man. Yeah, yeah." It's not me trying to be rude or have an ego. I just got a terrible memory.
that's okay. Is there anything you'd like to add to the interview yourself? Is there anything that you'd like to say?
um, First, I suppose, big thanks to you for putting all of these together. Like, it's great. It's a great window and an opportunity to share information and to chat. So, fair play to you. Woo. Um, what else? I suppose. What else? My own stuff. Like, I'm putting out another single in 2 weeks. And an EP in like just over a month. Um, yeah, like I'm just writing a lot of music and looking to collaborate with people online as much as I can to keep myself from banging a head off a wall. But yeah, all good. Can't complain. Happy enough. Um, Hopefully we can go to the pub soon.
Yeah, I had an interview during the week with one of my friends, DJ. He runs the Snugcast. It's kind of a well enough known Waterford based, in theory, podcast. And he
Oh,
usually runs
cool.
from a pub, okay? He can't do that at the moment. So they've been having live streams on YouTube every Friday where they pretend they're in a pub. So if you're
Yeah,
stuck
yeah.
with an idea,
That's a good call, actually. Yeah. Class. What's the name of the podcast?
the Snugcast.
I'll check it out. That's a cool idea. I just got back on Twitter as well. I was on Twitter for a while in school and I just gave up on it, and then just on it last night, and it's great. It's just great to see all the different supports out there and people following artists and trying to get into that again, because that's something I neglected. So another thing of the lockdown that I've refreshed.
I'm learning everything about Twitter again. I hadn't touched it till about a month ago. I was organizing this event and I made it my mission to try call out Blind Boy, but it didn't work out anyway. But that's why I got Twitter back. So I still don't know how to use it. So I might ask for tips.
Yeah, no, it's mad. You get down, like you go down like wormholes. Like you might follow a blog, and then you find an artist, and then you find artists that follow them, and then you might find a presenter that presented them. And it's cool just to see what they're up to, and like it's great. It's like Instagram, except it's far more like communicative and like instant, whereas Instagram people, post by the day and you kind of just get an overview of what they've been up to. But you kind of get it's cool. I've only kind of just realized what the fuck it is.
Well, I definitely need coaching, but we can talk about that another day. It's been an absolute pleasure to interview you
Yeah,
and
you too.
to hear
You
your
too.
insights on everything. So just say goodbye to everyone and then I will stop the recording and we can go back to chatting.
Sweet. Thanks very much for listening, everyone. Hope you're having a good evening, and I'll catch you soon. Bye.